Hey guys, welcome back to Simple Gardening. Today I'm going to show you what my garden looks like. This is October 2nd, so this will basically be my fall garden tour. Things are coming to an end, but as you can see, it's still going. So start off with, this is my red bud I've been trying to train into a tree, growing it from a little seedling all the way up. Seems to be doing well. I love the leaf structure. As you can see, it's a heart shape. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how big they get. So this is just the tip of it, and I'm not sure how big I'm going to get before I cut it off so it sends out another shoot. Unsure yet exactly what I want to do with it. My hardy hibiscus, this is the Midnight Marvel. And it's got a whole bunch of buds on here, but you can see little worms, little caterpillar worms are eating at it. Look at this beautiful flower. Isn't she beautiful? One of my favorite flowers in the garden. She's been blooming since the heat of summer and all the way through, with a little bit of a lull, I believe, during the heat when the worms come and eat its leaves, as you can see. But it still bounces back. It doesn't really harm the plant itself. Along the edge I have salvia. As you can see, they're still doing really good. They love it, like right here. Look at all those bumblebees still going around. That's cabbage that I planted. I planted a couple cabbage into the garden. I started doing that because I thought, you know, if my flowers are attracting all these pollinators, why not plant some vegetables along the garden? Then they'll get pollinated. I used to have a hedge of lavender, which I love. I love the smell of lavender. But what I realize is this area gets drainage from the gutter, and so is this area over here, and they all died off from root rot. This one still looks like it's doing good, however, but as you can see, I pulled off all the other one because this is what they end up looking like. They just die off. So I decided to plant the salvia, which, as you can see, the salvia loves the water. It loves this area. This area gets full sun, but again, the rain is really intense. So this area gets flooded like right along here. But they love that wet ground. My roses, they're doing well now. You can see I need to come in and deadhead. We are getting cooler temperature than the extreme heat that we normally get, but it's still warm enough that I'll still deadhead, and then I'll get some more roses to come out and flesh out. New growths are still coming on, as you can see. So look at them, aren't they beautiful? Back behind them are hydrangeas. I think it's limelight. And I want to say that's limelight, but the only thing is this one is store-bought. This one I propagated. That one is store-bought. And it hasn't gotten very big for being a limelight, so I'm thinking maybe it's a little lime, but I'm not sure. Anyways, they're just hydrangeas, and I love them. But this one is creating a mess, as you can see. It just kind of looks ugly. So I might pull it out and do something else. But I'm going to leave it in there for now because I have some sad news coming within a couple months, and I've got to decide what I want to do with all of my garden. And I'll tell you the sad news once I finish. So I'm going to just show you the beautiful flower. This is my standard rose tree that I'm growing. But you can see it suckers really bad, like over here. This is another standard that I'm training. But as you can see, look at all the new growth. The suckers, I mean, you call them suckers, I guess, because they're growth that is growing where you don't want it to grow. So you have to come in, or I have to come in and cut it off so that the lead still is the main thing, and it sends more energy into the main stem and not all these new growth over here. So basically you can see it looks like this area is starting to die off because it's sending so much energy into the new growth. It's not spending the time and energy to producing more flower and bud on the main stem. Pentas over here, she is doing beautiful. I love the color, the structure, it's upright. Can't go wrong with this plant. I mean, look at it. Isn't she beautiful? This coneflower is seeing its end over here. I don't know, it just is struggling. I don't know why exactly. I have another cabbage here and another cabbage here. Coleus right there, it's beautiful. I planted these coleus and then I took some cutting and I rooted, and then I have a whole bunch that is still growing. They're littler ones. The littler ones are the ones that I've rooted. Some are doing better than other, but I love the color. I mean, it reminds me of fall, so that's part of why I decided to integrate some of the colors into here. Once all the flower from summer decides to die off, then hopefully the coleus will still stay and do its thing and provide color before frost. Another rose. This one I'm trying to train into a standard as well. And then if you come over here, my geranium is still doing good over here. It looks a little bit dry. It looks like I need water. We're expecting rain starting tomorrow for like 4 days straight. So I don't really want to water and then have it be waterlogged by the next 4 or 5 days. Roses. Look at these coneflower, you guys. Aren't they fabulous? Look at them. Still blooming its head off. A different variety between this one and that one over there. The color is different. This color is more pastel, more light pink. And this one is more, it almost borderline red, but it's not red. It's more of a hot pink color. But I think first when it starts out, it looks reddish. I think the video makes it look reddish, but it's not as red as the one over here, which this one is actually a true red. There's the coneflowers. There's just so many different varieties. Again, along here, I had sedum where the coneflower were, but they rotted out because sedum likes drier, and this area, like I said, got so much rain from the gutters that it just rotted out. It rotted out. And then I planted all these flowers. This is Verbena red, but I'm not liking it. I love the color. Don't really like it because I don't want to spend the time to deadhead. I realize now that spending the time to deadhead to get new blooms is just a mess. Like, it's just too messy to come in here, and I could shave it off, but I don't think this is going to be a repeater next year. Although I love the color between the red and the purple. Salvia, again, still blooming its head off. Look at all the pollinators. Now I do want to show you not all coneflowers are the same. Some are prettier than others. So this one I really like, and that one I really like. But if you come to this one, I don't know what happened to this one. I mean, it leafed out a whole bunch. And then the two little flowers that it sent out, I'm like, meh. I don't know if I like that. My standard hydrangea that I trained is still doing great. It hasn't produced any new shoots or anything, which I think I need to cut off because see the node right here? This is where new shoots usually come out. But I think I cut it up here too far and the shoots were the flower. So I think I have to cut it down here where those little buds are. Those buds have already sprouted and that's what created the flower. So I think I need to cut it right here so it sends out new shoots right there. But you can see there's a new little shoot coming all the way at the bottom right there. Can you see it? Here, let me get closer. This one right here. That's a new shoot that's trying to come out. I don't want it to come out because I want to train it into a standard, which is a tree form. Now you can have multiple tree trunks. I don't want multiple tree trunks, so I'm just gonna kind of nip it in the bud, literally. This here is another hardy hibiscus I grew from cutting. It's doing great, just hasn't sent off any new buds, which I don't know if it will. It's gonna die back this year, and then next year it'll flush out and do what it needs to do. Again, a whole bunch of more coneflower. Probably the same variety as the other two. This one's the same variety. Isn't that beautiful? So beautiful. And then I have a couple cabbages along there. It is a little bit dead over here. I did a whole bunch of cutting of butterfly bush, and that's what I've tucked in here. This is a, oh, now I can't remember the name of it. a Pentas. Red kind I did from cutting. So the littler plants that you see, like over here, this one is a butterfly bush cutting that I've rooted. Coleus that I've rooted. So all of those little tiny guys that you see over there that looks like weed are not weed. They're actually plants that I put into the ground to get it prepped and ready for next year. I still have my roses over here. They're doing great. These guys I'm going to train into tree form so they'll stand up above, where the coneflower then will kind of be like the lower ground level backdrop, I guess, to where the roses are. But isn't this funny? Like all coneflower, when they start out, look, that's what they look like. And then they send out their little flower here, and eventually they get big and become like this. That's so pretty. So this is the front area still of my walkway. I have a Verbena over here that I planted from, rooted from cutting. And this one seems to be a lower to the ground. It just kind of trails all along the ground. I'm not sure if I like it because this area I want it to be more structured. So it just kind of, I feel like it's just all over the place. That hydrangea over there, I haven't completely figured out what I want to do with it. I think I want it to be a multi-trunk standard. So that being said, multi-trunk, I think I just want like 3 or 5. Right now it's just too busy, so I'm gonna have to come back in there and train that up a little bit. The cabbage looks like it's doing great. It's slowly forming its thing and doing its thing, so I can't wait until it cools off. This is geranium. She provides a great pop of hot pink color. I mean, I don't know if you can even see it with the sun hitting it, what kind of a true hot pink color it is, but it's pretty vibrant and pretty awesome. And then over here is just a smorgasbord of things that I'm growing. Most of them are cuttings that I'm trying to root in this area. Gets some sun, some shade. Here's a red bud in here that I'm trying to train upward, and I just need to stake it, I think. This here is Pentas. I have a standard butterfly bush over here. And as you can see, when you train things into a standard, you have to check on it every once in a while, because see, it'll push out new growth right here where the buds are, where the little nodes. And you have to come in and you kind of have to clean it up. You got to nip it in the bud, literally, so that it doesn't send out new growth. Otherwise, you're going to have multi trunks and whatnot. This one is a hydrangea that I just stuck into the ground. Remember when I did a whole bunch of trimming back to form the standard hydrangea? I just took a whole bunch of cuttings and then I stuck it into the ground, and this one's producing new shoots right here, here, and here. So that tells me that in here the roots are taking place and it's starting to form. And it's getting enough energy that it's sending out new shoots. Lantana, that's what it is. Sometimes I get a brain fart and I can't remember the flower. Not that I know every single one of them, but this is a lantana and she is beautiful. But I think she's too big for this area because she can get pretty massive. Persian shield. I love Persian shield. She's doing great over here. Here's another one over here. And then the pots that I've planted, I don't know if I did a full picture, but this one was so big and massive, excuse me. I had to cut. Look at all of them. Look at all the points that I've had to cut right here, because it got so massive and so big. It loved this spot right here. So I had to come in and cut all of this, and then you can see it's sending up new leaves and new shoots. This is the little coleus that I was telling you I'm going to plant in here and see how she does. And it looks like she's holding up on her own. Over here's the same one little cutting of Persian shield. And look at how wild she got. But I love that color. Look at that royal purple color. Isn't that beautiful? And then another coleus cutting that I did along with the elephant ear. This is my abutilon. She stopped flowering for me for a couple months there. It looked like she was struggling and I neglected her. But she is now starting to recover, as you can see. And she has this beautiful, like, lantern shape plant. And then you can see all the buds that are on her. Can you see them? And then this here is Angel's Trumpet right here. Isn't she beautiful? This is just a little cutting that I did and rooted, and she grew. Now I do want to show you over here. I had some plants in pots that I was gonna sell because I know not a lot of people have this plant. This is the abutilon, and I potted it up. It looks really dry, so I need to get this watered in. But they're doing really good over here. So I have a whole bunch of them, like this one over here. I was just gonna sell them basically to recover because I had to purchase the pots. Some pots I purchased, some pots I've saved from when I bought plants. And then for the soil, just so I can spread the love and wealth. I guess I can just also give them away, which I don't mind doing it, but when you have to buy potting soil and those pots, you just need to make enough just to cover the expenses of that, because potting soil can get pretty pricey. I have hydrangeas all along here, but they're not blooming because they're first year's growth. So they haven't really provided any blooms for me. I think those are the old hydrangeas. Those are the old mop-head hydrangeas. So the older mop-head hydrangeas, they only bloom on old wood. The newer variety blooms on old wood and new wood. So if you have either first growth year, which is this year, it won't bloom for me. But next year it should bloom as long as the winter and the frost doesn't kill the buds. So that's how it works. Over here, if you walk to my driveway, we're gonna go to my mailbox. And in my mailbox, I don't know why, it's not doing very well and I can't seem to figure it out. But the hydrangeas in the back is doing well. These are lilies that have already bloomed. I just leave it there just to soak up as much energy as it needs for the bulb for the next year. Remember, this is the butterfly bush that I transplanted. It looks like it's doing okay. It has recovered and sent out new buds, but I didn't expect it to do too much this year. It's gonna need to root in, get situated for next year. My roses over here, they're struggling a lot, but at least I'm still getting 1 or 2 roses to enjoy. I think this is Pope John Paul. And this one is, I can't remember, Tropicana or something like that. And then over here, Amaryllis hasn't bloomed at all for me yet, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or it blooms at Christmas time. Let me see. This is bee balm. I actually haven't gotten too much flowering, more mainly growth than flowers. Like the first bloom, the first set of bloom was amazing. It was so beautiful. And then I deadheaded, and now I just get sporadic flowers. It doesn't actually give me like a full flush of bloom. And of course, this is Salvia, still doing good. And then these are just little things that I've cutted, rooted, coleus. This I cut down. This is actually a hardy hibiscus. I can't remember the name, but it's the pink flower one. And there are different varieties of it all. Over here is my hydrangea. All of these are my mop-head hydrangeas. And they are of the older variety, as you can see. I kept some of the flowers on them, but they're coming to an end. And you can see they're suffering from black spots. A lot of black spots. And I still have a whole bunch here that is open space that I'm still growing. But you can see little plants that I put down. These are all sedum over here. I think these are autumn joy sedum. So they're doing good. Some of them still have pretty pink flowers. Other have actually turned to brown. I've planted some of my a butylon over there. There's like 3 or 4 of them over there, a cluster of them. So this actually over here is waiting for me to plant something. I've been waiting because I didn't know what to plant over here because I'm planning on removing this tree right here. This is a dogwood, but for some reason it's just not, I don't know if it's not happy where it is, but it's supposed to flower and it rarely has flowers and it just seems to struggle. So I think I'm going to remove it. It could be that it's been here for 15, 20 years and its life might be coming to an end. So I think I would like to remove that, and if I do that, it's going to create massive sunlight over here. So I need to make sure that I plant the correct kind of plants over here to take the sun. Beautyberry up here, it's white. This one, beautyberry. There's a purple one that I had that I planted right over here, but it died off somewhere. Lamb's ear is doing really good. Butterfly bush. I think this is Miss Molly. She's doing good too. Miss Molly seems to do well for me in this area. Some does better than others, of course. Over here, this area, I had the calla lilies, and I think out of 4 of them, that one still has leaves. The other one just completely died off. And then they push out new growth springtime and then summer. They only flower really once, but when they do flower, it's beautiful, but it's just not an ongoing process. So if you're looking for something that gives you full summer color, I wouldn't recommend calla lilies. I told you earlier about the lantana, how that area is not big enough for it. Here is the mother plant from that cutting, and as you can see, she just like, she wants to do her own thing. She's pretty massive, so that little area that I have won't do it. Here's some more roses over here. I can't remember the variety this is, but she's pretty. But she's not the royal like hybrid tea that I like. This one I love, and it's coming to an end. But it's a little cutting that I rooted, so it's just brand new this year. And then if you keep walking along here, I mean, there are some roses that are still doing good. Butterfly bush, coneflower. Those are my hardy hibiscus, the same one as the one by the Mailbox. It's not really blooming for me, and I'm unsure why. I don't know if it needs more food. It just hasn't sent off any more blooms. Like all these were little blooms that were there, but it hasn't sent off anything else. So it could be coming to its end of the life cycle, you know. So over here, salvia here, salvia here, just different variety. Kufia vermillionaire, love this plant. I'm gonna put more of this around. A great attractor for pollinators and hummingbirds. This is a sage, pineapple sage, I believe. Look at the flower on it. Isn't that beautiful? I did a video earlier on it and it didn't have a lot of flower, but between them and the vermillionaire, look at it, they're like almost the same. See it? I mean, just the different color, but this bush got big. See, it starts out like this. These are the tiny little stems, flowering stems, and then as it grows it gets bigger and more massive. But look at this huge area of just salvias and sage. Definitely loves it. So definitely recommend planting this if you garden in zone 8A, Georgia. Red clay, they seem to love it for some reason. A little bit more over here. This is a yarrow. It's really pretty, but it struggles. I don't know why it flops over so much. And then over here is another coneflower. It's growing good. I've got a knockout rose right there that I'm trying to train into a tree. Those big huge trees over there is the crepe myrtle, flower of the south. And then keep walking. Got some more roses, yellow ones. I don't remember the name. Butterfly bush, vermillionaire. I've got a whole bunch of other plants that's just right along, but they're just plants that I've put in. Lots of weed. I gotta keep this under control, but it weeds like crazy over here. Let me see. So this is the bee balm as well. I cut this back, and as you can see, the flush of growth is there, but the flower itself is not there. Over here, Coneflower, they are beautiful. They're coming to an end. I did a lot of deadheading. See, this one is the one that I didn't really like. This variety, for some reason, I don't like at all. So, but I think, you know how when it drops its seed, like right here, it keeps coming back when it drops its seeds. And then I transplant them, not realizing that they're that one that I don't want. And then you get the ones that you do want, like this one here, which has all these seeds still left on here. So I'm gonna actually save all these seeds and then plant them somewhere else, since I like them. Keep going back. I have a black diamond crepe myrtle. The leaf structure is black, and then the flower is red. It's really pretty. Keep coming back over here. This is just Smorgasbord. I have a yellow butterfly bush right there. It's gigantuous. Is that a word? Ginormous? Gigantuous? And then over here, just some more stuff. I think that is Joe Pye weed. It was pretty in the fall time, but now it's coming to an end. See, all the flowers are pretty much spent. This is yarrow. This is my butterfly bush. It's really pretty. I was kind of training it into a multi-trunk standard right there. So it seems to be doing well. It just gives me that like vase look. You know how like it's skinny at the bottom and then it flowers out. I like that look. And then those are my another form of hydrangea, Panicle hydrangea. These ones are the what do you call them? See, I keep forgetting the actual brand name. Good thing I keep some of the thing. So it's Pinky Winky. I forgot, it's Pinky Winky. So this one is Pinky Winky and this one's Pinky Winky. I think I did a video on it earlier. Of course, they don't wow me like they do, but so these ones are the early blooming ones, and I haven't cut off the flower, so now they just kind of look blah. Remember how I told you that all of my hydrangea, all my Panicle hydrangea never turns really that beautiful flush pink color that you see in pictures, and it's due to the weather never reaching below a certain cool temperature at nighttime to create that. But now it's in the 60s at nighttime, and look, ta-da! This is the same thing. So this is Pinky Winky, but this is a cutting that I did, and it has grown big enough to now this is its first set of bloom. But see how it's just starting to like bloom and gets that white color, and now that the temperature is finally dipping into the 60s at nighttime, it's giving me that pink hue that I've been wanting so badly. Isn't it beautiful? Now I know why people in the area that, you know, the nighttime drops down cooler, that they love it. I mean, if it gives you this tone and then afterward it goes brown, then you have, you know, the white interest, then the pink interest, and then the fall brown interest. So you get three different seasons of interest. But if you're in the south where it's like blistering hot all day and all night in the summertime, it just goes from white to like this color. I mean, it does give you a little bit of pink, but then it just goes brown. Like, it doesn't wow. See, if you see it now, this doesn't wow me. But if I pan to over here, you would be like, wow, what is that? And you need that cool temperature. So I wish there's a way to get a Panicle hydrangea that just changes color without the temperature drop, and that would be great. So look, see how the colors just blah over here, but if you pan to look over there, now you have that pink color. Beautiful, isn't it? This is another crepe myrtle. And then you come over here. I still have some roses over here. Some butterfly bush right there. Hydrangea. This, of course, is the camellia. It'll bloom probably in January, February area time frame. And then this is my limelight and my limelight. They were beautiful in the summertime. White fluff of blooms. I mean, I loved it. But as you can see, the heat takes its toll, and it just, ugh, I don't know. People say just leave them like this in the fall time and provides the interest, but I don't know. I just think that's ugly. You can't beat them all though. Look at my coneflower. More is coming, but she's doing good. Another hydrangea. And then I'm not really going to show you what's over here because there's really nothing. I have elephant ear down there. Over there I got some lantana, some more crepe myrtles. And then along here I have some more hydrangeas that I actually trimmed off. That's between my neighbor and I over there. And let's see. Over here, this is my backyard with a whole bunch of pots and plants and whatnot. And then I'm going to come over here and just give you guys a little brief look. This is my propagation bed, really, where I root them, and once I root them, I put them out into this flower bed, and then they grow from here. So if you look in here, these are all littler plants than your average size one. I've got a whole bunch of Japanese maple over here. Can you see them? They're like on little tiny stems. I got some that are even littler than this. Like over here. And they're doing great. Look at these little tiny things. These are all from seeds. And then I've got some bigger ones, of course. And then, of course, some smaller ones. This huge big looking like tree here looks like it's mature, but it's actually first year's growth. This is a Confederate rose. It finally has buds, so I'm super excited, you guys, to see what it actually look like. Can you see the buds? It's so big. It's like 8 feet tall now, and believe it or not, this is its first year's growth. I just took a cutting and I plop it in the ground. Probably early spring, and it took, you know, the course of 5-6 months, and it's like a full-blown grown tree. I put it here because it provided the shade that all the younglings need, because it can't handle full sun, so that's part of why I put it in here. But you can see it's monstrous. Look at that. And it has so much like potential. It has all these buds at the tip of it. I can't wait to see what it looks like, but it's kind of hard because it's so tall. I'm gonna miss it, so I need it to be like down here where you can actually see it. But this is a couple more stuff along with weeds everywhere. But you can see here's another Japanese maple here, here's one here, and then this, of course, is a coneflower. Isn't that color pretty? That red color. So these are just cuttings over here. You can see this is sedum, and then a coneflower, some more sedums over here. But yeah, this is my propagation bed. Just want to show you really quickly. Got a whole bunch of stuff in there. And then once they get big enough, I just plant it out into the main flower bed. But over here, when I was cutting back all those hydrangea, I just stuck the stick down here, and you can see they're still fine, because see over here, they're sending out, see, they're sending out, the nodes right there are sending out new leaves like this one. Can you see it? That one's doing it right there. So that's a great way to get some new plants. So here is my dilemma. I have all of these beautiful plants that I've spend time and energy and effort into either propagating or growing. And I might be losing my job. And if I lose my job, we're gonna have to, I don't know, I wouldn't say we had to downsize, but we want to buy land so I can keep on having a garden. And so what we're thinking is selling off our house here, and then with the money that we get from this house, buy an RV, and then buy like a 15-acre kind of out away from the city. And then I can start with my new flower bed and garden beds and things like that. So the dilemma I've got is I want to take all my plants with me. And the thought of having to dig up all of the plants that I've planted is, first of all, a daunting task. But if you think about every single plant that I have in my garden, and if I have to purchase it, it's gonna get crazy expensive. So I have to go through my garden, and honestly, like, I have maybe 2.5 months for us to make this transition, because I might lose my job in November due to the new mandate with COVID. So if my job, which requires me, well, okay, here's the funny thing. I work remote, but because it's a company policy, I either have to take the COVID vaccine or I have to get an exemption. If I don't do either and is not approved for the exemption and not take the COVID shot, then they're going to put me on unpaid time off and then sever me from the company that I work with. And I just don't feel right now that I am ready. There's not enough research out there, and I feel that my personal belief has taken me on a different path, and I don't want to take the COVID shot, and I don't feel that it should be it should be my choice to choose what to put in my body, and it always has been. Medically, I was able to choose what to put in my body and not to put in my body, and now I feel that no government or any other person has the right to tell me that I have to do something that goes against what I want to do for my body. So it's a personal choice, and that is my choice. And in so doing, I want to make sure that I am ready for the task at hand. I guess my new adventure. So how do you dig up a rose like that in the ground to take with you? And then how do you choose what flower to take with you? And I'm not going to cry, even though my voice may sound like I am. So how do I choose? Like, how do you pick all the flower that you've nurtured and plant and grow and watched and watered and, spend time on? I mean, some of them I can just be like, yeah, whatever. But like all of my hydrangeas, I want to take with them. And you could see how massive some of them are. And other plants like, the Verbena here, yeah, I'm going to leave that. Or I might take a couple cutting. It might be pretty in like a wild setting. But like, how do I dig up all my roses, which I love my roses? Look, how do I dig up that southern magnolia tree, which I can't, and it's been there and I love it, but I love my tulip, my Japanese magnolia right there. And thankfully some of my hydrangea isn't like so big that I cannot take with me, so I'm gonna dig it up, but it's gonna leave my garden a little bare. And like some of my butterfly bush, I'm going to take with me. I'm going to do a lot of cutting as well. But How do you do that just within 3 months, you know? So I'm hoping to put my house on for sale and have it sold within like 1 or 2 months. Have the funds to buy an RV, have funds to buy land. Because from selling the property, I'm going to have enough to be able to buy an RV and buy just a piece of land that's really rural out there. Because land is a lot cheaper out there. And then just get myself situated, because my husband may go through the same thing if his company decides that they are mandating that everybody takes a shot or they lose their job. I know that everybody in their own way is suffering due to COVID. So I'm not saying that anybody is more or less important. I'm just saying I love my garden and I put sweat into my garden. So trying to decide what to take with me is like, how do you decide? You know, I'm going to have to dig up, if you look at it, I have to dig up, I want to take these Japanese maple with me. So I've got to dig up every single one of these. And it's my choice, I know. But I've got to dig up every single one of this and put them in a pot just so I can move them. So if my husband and I both lose our job, then at least we can buy the land and the RV outright and then try to find another job. And, you know, if every company is mandating it now, I mean, how do you apply for a job that will accept you without that requirement being the number one thing before they hire, right? I think I am rambling and chasing something here that I may not want to get too involved in. But so that's just happened like literally within like a week and a half, and I'm trying to wrap my mind all around it, that I'm gonna leave my garden and I gotta pick and choose what I take with me and what I don't. Like over here I have all these in pots which I'm gonna take with me, but so all these pots are going to be coming with me for sure. But I have to leave. This is my Mother's Day present from my husband, and I'm going to leave it here because I don't have the space right now. I mean, I have the space if I buy land, but to try to take this with me, it's very limited. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to take this elephant ear. It's so monstrous right now. I mean, look at that. That's like as thick as a tree right here. It's like thicker than my arm. So I'm probably going to have to leave this even though I love it. And then, of course, I have my Rio Samba. I can't leave my Rio Samba. But how the heck am I going to get this out of here and transport it? Pick and choose, you guys, huh? Pick and choose. And then I've got my pomegranate, my sweet bloom, grapefruit tree, and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. So I guess one day at a time, right? Deep breaths and one day at a time I can do this. So although I will be sad to leave it, I can at least take some cuttings and some plants with me. And we're starting off on a new adventure. I think this is the best for me. And I'm sorry I am rambling on. So I am going to end this video now. And I hope to see you in the next one, you guys. Who knows? I might have a bigger lot that I can grow more things and start on a brand new garden just like I did here. Because I mean, this is basically all brand new. I've been working on it. So it has been fun. Lots of hard work, but fun. And I'm going to go back to what is making me feel good and beautiful right now, which is this pinky winky beautiful flower. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.